My name is Ava Monroe. I'm 26 now, but the night that rewired my entire life? Yeah, that happened when I was 15. 2:17 a.m., cold as hell, middle of nowhere. I was standing barefoot on cracked asphalt, hoodie too thin, heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest, watching the only car I thought would always protect me disappear into darkness. That car? Yeah, my mom was driving it. And she didn't even look back. Not once. Before I tell you how the girl left on that road became the woman people now call unstoppable, I want to ask you something real quick. What time is it where you're watching this? And where are you from? Because I need you to understand something. This story, it doesn't stay in one place. It travels, just like pain does. Growing up, I didn't think my life was broken. I thought it was normal. Messy, yeah, loud sometimes, complicated, but normal. My dad bounced when I was 8. No goodbye, just dipped. Left behind unpaid bills, a broken couch, and a version of my mom I didn't recognize anymore. Before that, she used to laugh. Like, really laugh. After he left, she turned into survival mode. Always tired, always stressed, always one step away from snapping. At first, she still tried. We'd eat frozen pizza on the floor and watch old movies. She'd say things like, "It's just us now, kiddo. We'll figure it out." And I believed her. I really did. But then came Rick. You ever meet someone who smiles too much? Like, it doesn't reach their eyes. That was Rick. He came into our lives like some kind of upgrade. Nice car, fancy watch, smooth talk. My mom thought she hit the jackpot. I thought something felt off. At first, he played the role perfectly. Brought groceries, fixed stuff around the house, called me champ even though I hated it. But slowly, things started shifting. Little things, then bigger things. He didn't like how I talked, didn't like how I dressed, didn't like that I had an attitude. And my mom, she started agreeing with him. That's when I learned something nobody teaches you as a kid. Love can get replaced. Not all at once, but piece by piece. By the time I turned 15, the house didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt like I was renting space in someone else's life. Rick would criticize everything. "Ava, why are you always in your room? Ava, why don't you help more? Ava, you think the world owes you something?" And if I stayed quiet, problem. If I spoke up, bigger problem. My mom always took his side. Always. At dinner, it was them on one side, and me on the other. Like I was the guest nobody invited. Then came that night. We were driving back from Rick's friend's place, some long, awkward dinner where I barely spoke, and they laughed like I didn't exist. I had my headphones in, staring out the window, counting streetlights just to pass time. That's when Rick said it. "She's got an attitude problem." My mom didn't defend me. She nodded. "Yeah, she's been difficult lately." That word? Difficult? Man, that one hit different. I pulled my headphones off. "What did I even do?" I asked. Wrong move. Rick turned around slightly, smirk on his face. "There you go again, always playing the victim." I felt something snap inside me. "I'm not playing anything. You just don't like me." Silence. Heavy silence. The kind that makes your stomach drop. My mom tightened her grip on the steering wheel. Rick leaned back, whispering something in my ear. I couldn't hear it, but I swear, that whisper changed everything. A few minutes later, she slammed the brakes. Hard. The car skidded slightly. My shoulder hit the door. "What the hell? I started. Then she turned around, and the look on her face? Cold. Empty. Like I wasn't her daughter anymore. "Get out," she said. I blinked. What? Get out. I actually laughed. I thought it was a bluff. You know how parents threaten stuff they don't mean? Yeah, I thought it was that. "I'm not getting out. It's the middle of nowhere." Rick chuckled. "She thinks you're joking." My mom opened her door, walked around, opened mine, unbuckled my seatbelt, grabbed my arm. Hard. "Get out." This time, she screamed it, and something in her voice told me this wasn't a threat. This was real. I stumbled out of the car. Cold air hit my face instantly. I wasn't wearing shoes, didn't even realize it till later. My backpack? Still inside. Phone? Dead. Everything I owned, still in that car. I tried reaching back in. "Mom, stop! My stuff!" Rick pushed the door shut. Should have thought about that earlier. My mom got back behind the wheel, didn't look at me, didn't hesitate, didn't say sorry. The engine roared, and just like that, they drove off. I stood there, alone, on a dark road surrounded by trees. No houses, no lights, no sound, except my own breathing and the fading echo of the only people who were supposed to protect me, leaving me behind. At first, I didn't move. I kept thinking, they'll come back. They have to. This is just some messed up lesson, right? Right? Yeah, no, they didn't come back. Then I heard something. A truck. Big rig, headlights cutting through the darkness. It slowed, pulled over. A guy stepped out. Tall, heavy jacket, rough voice. "You okay, kid?" That question, it broke me. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I just stood there, shaking. He looked down the road, then back at me. "They leave you here?" I nodded. He muttered under his breath, "Damn, that's messed up." That moment, that was the first time in months someone saw me, not as a problem, not as a burden, not as difficult, just a kid who didn't deserve what just happened. And that's where everything changed. Not instantly, not magically, but that night? Yeah, that was the moment my old life ended, and a new one started in the cold, barefoot, on a road nobody even knew existed. If you think this is where the story gets easier, nah, this is just the beginning, because what happened after that, the shelter, the lies, the survival, and the comeback nobody saw coming, that part, that's where it gets real. So yeah, that night didn't end on that road. It just redirected everything. The truck driver, his name was Marcus, didn't rush me, didn't grab me, didn't act weird. He just stood there, hands visible, voice calm. "Listen, you don't gotta trust me," he said, "but you're not staying out here. Not tonight." I didn't have the energy to argue, didn't have the energy to think, so I nodded. That tiny nod, yeah, that's what saved me. He wrapped me in his spare jacket, smelled like coffee and diesel, and helped me into the passenger seat. Warm air hit my face, and I swear, that was the first time I felt something close to safe in months. He didn't ask too many questions, didn't push, just drove. 15 minutes later, we pulled into a truck stop. Bright lights, people, cameras. Safe. He got me hot chocolate, which I couldn't even drink properly because my hands were still shaking. Then he called the police. Not in a scary way,
in a this needs to be handled right kind of way. When the cops showed up, everything turned into a blur. Questions, forms, looks. You ever feel like people are trying to figure you out like you're some kind of puzzle? Yeah, that. They asked about my mom, about Rick, about what happened. And when they called her, she picked up. Of course she did. I'll never forget what she said. She ran out of the car. She's been out of control lately. Out of control. I was standing right there, listening, and for the first time, I realized something heavy, something ugly, something real. She wasn't coming to get me. They took me to a youth shelter that night. I thought shelters were like temporary sleepovers, safe, quiet, maybe even comforting. Yeah, no. The place smelled like cleaning chemicals and old sadness. Dim lights, thin mattresses, kids pretending they were okay. Every single one of them carrying a story nobody wanted to hear. I got assigned a bed in the corner. They gave me donated clothes that didn't fit right, and a blanket that felt like it had lived 1,000 lives before mine. That first night, I didn't sleep. Not even a little. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw headlights fading, heard that car driving away, felt that same cold hit my skin again. Over and over, like my brain refused to let me forget. Days turned into something weird. Not quite time, more like waiting. Waiting for someone to show up. Waiting for someone to say, "Hey, mistake happened. Let's fix this." But nobody came. Social workers tried. I'll give them that. They called my mom again. Same story. She's difficult. She needs help. I can't handle her. Handle. Like I was a problem to manage, not a daughter. They reached out to my dad too. Guess what? Straight to voicemail. Not even a text. Nothing. That's when it hit me for real. I wasn't lost. I was left. After about 2 weeks, they placed me in a foster home. I remember thinking, okay, maybe this is the reset. New place, new people, fresh start. Yeah, that lasted about 3 days. The house looked nice from the outside. White fence, clean yard. Inside, different story. The foster mom smiled a lot, but it felt fake, like Rick's. Everything was rules. Everything was control. Don't touch this. Don't sit there. Lights out at 9. No phone. No attitude. Sound familiar? Yeah. It felt like going from one cage to another. The foster dad barely spoke, just watched, like he was waiting for me to mess up. And eventually, I did. Not because I wanted to, but because I was tired. Tired of being quiet. Tired of shrinking myself. One night at dinner, the foster mom said, "You should be grateful. Some kids have it worse." That line, man, that line always gets thrown around like it's supposed to fix everything. I looked at her and said, "Yeah, but that doesn't make this okay." Silence. You could feel the tension in the air. The foster dad slammed his fork down. "Watch your tone." And just like that, I was the problem again. 2 weeks later, they requested removal, said I was non-compliant. That word followed me everywhere. Non-compliant, difficult, disrespectful. Funny how nobody ever asked, why? Back to the system, back to another placement, then another, then another. Each house, same pattern. Different faces, same energy. At some point, you stop expecting kindness. You stop trusting smiles. You stop believing this time will be different. And instead, you start adapting. I learned fast, like survival mode fast. Say less, observe more. Don't react, don't attach, don't expect. But here's the twist nobody talks about. That mindset, yeah, it doesn't just protect you. It builds something else, something dangerous, something powerful. Control. I started watching people, really watching. How they talk, how they lie, how they pretend, how they break. And I realized something most adults don't even understand. People show you exactly who they are. You just gotta stop ignoring it. At school, I kept my head down, did my work, stayed invisible. But after school, that's when things shifted. There was this one counselor, Miss Reyes. Didn't talk much, didn't force anything, but she noticed. One day, she caught me staying late, just sitting in the hallway. "You don't like going home, huh?" she said. I shrugged, didn't answer. She didn't push, just said, "You're smarter than the situation you're in. Don't forget that," and walked away. That sentence, yeah, that stuck. For the first time in a long time, someone didn't see me as broken. They saw potential. That's when the shift started. Not big, not dramatic, but quiet, intentional. I started focusing. Grades up, behavior neutral, emotions locked. Not because I became okay. Nah, I just became strategic. See, pain can destroy you, or it can sharpen you, and I was done being destroyed. By 17, I had a plan. Not a perfect one, but something. Graduate, get out, never depend on anyone again. Because the truth, it hit me hard and it hit me early. Nobody was coming to save me. So I made a decision, right there, quietly. No announcement, no speech, just a promise to myself. Next time I stand alone, I won't be powerless. And yeah, that decision, that's what changed everything. Because what came next, college, hustle, money, power, and the moment life flipped so hard, the same people who left me came back begging. And trust me, that part, it's not what you think. So yeah, by 17, I had a plan. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't pretty, but it was mine. Graduate, get out, never depend on anyone again. I aged out of the system at 18. No big goodbye, no celebration, just a trash bag with my stuff and a quiet good luck. That's how it works. One day you're in care, next day you're on your own. I got a tiny room through a youth program, barely bigger than a closet, mattress on the floor, one window, a heater that worked when it felt like it. But you know what? It was mine. No one yelling, no one watching, no one deciding if I was too much. Just silence. And for once, silence felt like peace. I worked 2 jobs. Morning shift at a coffee shop, night shift stocking shelves. Yeah, I was exhausted, like dead on my feet exhausted. But every dollar I made, it meant something. Freedom, control, power. I started community college. Nothing fancy, but I picked business. Not because it sounded cool, but because I wanted to understand how the world actually works. Money, systems, power. The stuff nobody teaches kids like me. I sat in the front row, took notes like my life depended on it, because, honestly, it kind of did. One of my professors said something that stuck with me. Most people don't fail because they're dumb, they fail because they don't understand the game. That hit hard. Because I'd been losing a game I didn't even know the rules to. So I learned everything. How credit works, how debt traps people, how contracts are written, how businesses collapse, and how they recover. But the real game, that was outside the classroom. I got a part-time job at a small property office. Nothing big, just answering calls, filing papers, watching, learning. That's where I saw it. People losing everything. Houses, businesses, savings. Not because they were evil, but because they made bad decisions, ignored numbers, trusted the wrong people, or just didn't know better. And I recognized something. That panic in their eyes, I knew that feeling. I lived that feeling. But this time, I wasn't the one being crushed. I was on the other side, learning the system, understanding the pressure points. That's when it clicked. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was strategy. By 22, I took a risk, a big one. Started my own small company. Just me, old laptop, cheap desk, a mindset built from pain and discipline. I focused on distressed properties, the messy stuff nobody wanted. People avoiding it, banks tired of it, deals hidden in chaos. It wasn't easy. First year, I barely made anything. Second year, better. Third year, everything changed. Because reputation, that's everything. And I built mine on one thing: understanding problems people were too scared to face. Then, one day, I saw a name on a file, on a screen, and everything went quiet. Rick Lawson. My chest tightened. I leaned closer, checked again. Same name, same person. I dug deeper, couldn't stop myself. Turns out, Rick had started a business, an auto shop. Big loans, bad management, missed payments, debt piling up.
And my mom? Still right there with him, still backing him, still choosing him. Their house? Refinanced twice. Credit cards maxed, loans stacked on loans. A whole life built on pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. And me? I was now in a position to see it all. That feeling, it wasn't anger, not exactly. It was clarity. The same people who left me with nothing were now standing on the edge of losing everything. I sat there for a long time, just thinking. I could walk away, ignore it, let life handle it. Or I could step in, not emotionally, not loudly, but legally, strategically. So I did. I created a separate company, clean, quiet, professional, no connection to me, on paper. Then I contacted the bank, asked about buying distressed debt. Normal move, happens all the time. It took weeks, then months, but slowly, piece by piece, I bought it. Their business loan, their house mortgage, other small debts tied to their name. Not revenge, not chaos, just ownership. They didn't know it was me at first. They just started getting notices, late payments, warnings, deadlines. Nothing illegal, nothing personal, just consequences. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one running. Months passed. Things got worse for them. Calls ignored, bills stacking, stress building. Then one night, my phone lit up. Unknown number, then another, voicemail after voicemail. I listened. "Ava, please call us." That voice? My mom. I stayed quiet. More messages, more panic, more fear. Then one text hit different. "We're about to lose everything. Please, you're our only hope." I stared at the screen. Long time. 11 years ago, I was standing alone, hoping they'd come back. Now, they were the ones hoping. I didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, I waited. The final notice date? 2 a.m. Exactly. Same time, same hour, same kind of night.
I drove to the house, parked outside, heart steady, not racing, not shaking, just calm. The house looked smaller, different, not like the place that once controlled my life. I walked up, knocked. Rick opened the door. He looked older, tired, defeated. My mom stood behind him, eyes red, hands shaking. They both froze. "Ava?" she whispered. I nodded, and for the first time, they didn't look powerful. They looked scared. They started talking, fast, messy, desperate. "We made mistakes. Things got out of control. We didn't mean—" I raised my hand. They stopped. I looked at them, really looked. Then I said something simple, calm, clear. "Do you remember that road?" Silence. Rick looked away. My mom started crying. "I was 15, I continued, barefoot, cold, alone. No yelling, no anger, just truth. I waited for you." Her face broke. "You didn't come back." Rick tried to speak. "This isn't the same." I cut him off. "It is." Silence again, heavy. Then I told them everything. The loans, the company, the reality. Their faces changed. Shock, then fear, then realization. "It's you?" Rick said. I nodded, and in that moment, everything flipped. The power, the control, the roles, all reversed. "You can't do this," he said. I looked him dead in the eye. "I already did." My mom stepped forward, crying harder now. "Please, Ava, we're your family." That word again, family. I paused. For a second, old memories tried to come back. Old pain, old confusion. But then I remembered that road, that night, that silence, and I made my decision, not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of truth. "I'm not doing this to hurt you," I said. "I'm doing this because actions have consequences." Rick shook his head. "You're just like us." I smiled slightly. "No, I'm not." I turned around, walked back to my car, didn't slam the door, didn't look back, just left. The next morning, they were removed, legally, properly. No chaos, no drama, just reality. And me? I didn't celebrate, didn't feel powerful, didn't feel revenge. I felt free, because I didn't become them. I became something better. A few months later, I turned that house into something new, a place for girls like me, safe, warm, no judgment, no fear. The first girl who stayed there, she asked me, "Will I have to leave suddenly?" I looked at her, smiled. "No," I said, "you're safe here." And that's when it hit me. This wasn't about revenge. It was about breaking the cycle. Because pain, you see, it travels, but so does healing. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is not get even. It's build something better. So yeah, they left me on a road thinking I was nothing. But 11 years later, I became someone who didn't just survive. I changed the ending. And if you're watching this right now, feeling lost, forgotten, or left behind, just know this: your story isn't over, not even close.